Welcome to Squirrel, the podcast for distracted writers, hosted by Candace J. Thomas and Jody L. Milner. Hey everybody, welcome to Squirrel. This is Jody.
And this is Candace.
And this is episode 48. And today we're talking all about how to improve your craft through education. And we have come up with 6 different ways, 6 different founts of wisdom that you can improve your craft.
Yeah, I love that you always stay with the 6s.
You know, it's a time thing. It's very practical. It fits in the time of our episodes. Whether you're brand new to writing or you've done it for a while, there's always something new to learn. And it's really easy to be overwhelmed. But I recommend to keep things simple. So find something you've always wanted to learn more about, or something that you feel has been a challenge in your writing itself. Maybe something your writing group has told you. And seek out a resource that can help you with that specific thing. And chances are there's an article or a book that tackles that exact challenge. There are a bazillion resources out there. And so we're going to talk about every single one of them. Buckle in. 3,729.
I know, right?
And counting. So the first one I wanted to talk about is one that's been very impactful to me, and that is writing communities.
I totally agree with you.
Candy is the extrovert here, and I'm the introvert here, so I think she gets more out of the person-to-person interactions than I do. But I like having mentors that I can reach out to privately and be like, can you help me with this one specific thing? And they're like, absolutely.
Well, I do that too.
I've benefited greatly from having people who are ahead of me in their writing career. They've already gone through the problems that I am currently going through, and they have really good answers, which is terrific. It can be a little bit of a trick to find a local writing community. So I do have some resources. You can always ask your local library. Most of the time, they're going to know what writing communities are active in the area and give you recommendations. Librarians are amazing people.
And, you know, in our state, we have a great writing community. But when I went to other states, they don't really have the same kind of thing that we have here. I know that there can be communities online as well.
There are communities online. NaNoWriMo has its own writing community and its own set of bulletin boards. NaNoWriMo is a National November Writing Month, just in case you're new. The NaNoWriMo bulletin board is excellent if you have basic questions or you just want support, because everyone on there has done what you've done, and you probably we can get good advice there. Wattpad is still a thing. You can still put stuff up on Wattpad and get critique.
I am going to throw something that I was going to discuss later, but I'm going to put it right here. Discord. Yeah. So there are a lot of writing communities on Discord. There is the reason why I was going to add it later, but I found a lot of my trusted writer friends, or they're in places that aren't this state, through, we have a Discord channel. So we can talk directly to each other and keep each other like on some kind of creative wavelength and understand what our projects are and if we've been writing during the day. So Discord is a really great place to also investigate and create a group or join a group. Yeah, there's lots of things on there. So.
And there's groups that are similar to that you can find in other places as well. So if you have a platform you prefer, I would seek out a writing community on that platform, because chances are if you're already comfortable with the platform, you're more likely to stick with it. I'm not super comfortable with Discord yet. I would like to be.
It's prominent in the gaming community, right? Are you a big gamer?
No, but my family
You could
is.
be.
I could be.
It's such an easy way to talk with people that are across the world. And that's why it's become really popular within the generation that is below us. Because they're big gaming, gamers that communicate and game online together. So that's why Discord's a big deal. Okay, so I wanted to mention community ed classes and college certificates. So
I know you've gotten a lot of benefit because you did some certificate programs.
I did, yeah. So the reason why I add community ed classes, even though it might sound like an expensive way, you're getting them from a specific educational source.
And they're usually very good teachers.
Yes. They have a lot of good credentials for what they're teaching. And I'm with community ed, it's not getting college degrees. It's usually night classes or weekend classes or even online stuff that you could do with.
And most of them are really reasonably priced.
Yeah, they really
$30,
are.
$40, I think last time I checked.
Mm-hmm. I also, one of the things that I did was get a creative writing certificate from UC San Diego. And that was a 2-year it was 2 years that I devoted to this. So yes, it was one of those, I'm devoting a lot of time and specifics to this. But when I went to, like when I was in school, I got published after school. Like I got published later on in life, and all my credits really are in science, not really in writing. And I didn't feel like I started questioning my talent when it came to creative writing. So getting a certificate like that helped me understand, yes, I am good at this. I have some proof that helps solidify, validate me. It can be helpful for other organizations if I wanted to teach or whatever, but I needed it to make sure that I really understood the craft that I'm trying to get into. So that's what I am going to suggest, is maybe look into some community ed classes, something that's done like at, even at a high school, like after school type stuff.
Community colleges.
Yeah.
Like any higher institution of learning should have some available.
And it's not college credit. It's not matriculation. It's just,
it's continuing education.
It's continuing education. So
some of this can count as a work education credit, depending on what your work is.
If you have CEUs that you have to do.
Yep. Yeah. So again, you can get double the benefit by just being a little creative in your choices.
Yes. All right, Jody. We're at number 3.
Number 3.
Tell me about number 3.
So I chose YouTube videos for number 3. And who has not learned something new from watching YouTube?
I love YouTube.
When I've forgotten a crochet stitch, I go to YouTube.
We had to fix the train in my car. And yes, of course, somebody had a video of that. And who even knew? Small
engine repair. How to take apart your door of your car.
It's
We've
amazing.
done that. So there is this amazing arsenal of lectures from these big ticket writing conference teachers. And they're available for free on YouTube. I know Dan Wells has his 7-part story structure on there. That is like a 2-hour course.
That's a big deal.
It is a really good one.
When we go to conferences and if he puts that out, it's a specific ticket that you have to purchase in order to be in that class. So that's a big deal.
And so he does have it on there. Is it the greatest video ever? There's really loud intro and outro music on the video. And I don't, so like
did somebody record it from their phone?
I don't know how legit it is, but it's on his page.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking it was sanctioned, but the execution, just bear with it because you get what you pay for.
Well, and as writers, we're not like video producers.
Okay,
we do what we can.
And for my fantasy people out there, Brandon Sanderson has literally hundreds upon hundreds of hours of his lectures.
Yep.
Because he taught forever at a university and he taught creative writing. And so hundreds of hours of his lectures are all online.
He's still teaching.
It's amazing. He's still teaching. Yeah. I keep forgetting now that he's doing all of his other cool things, like his amazing Kickstarters. Like it feels like that would be the thing that would fall by the wayside, but I think he truly loves it. So
no, if I can influence people and teach, I love teaching. If I could teach, I would.
It's fun.
What do I have to say? No one's going to care on my YouTube channel.
Another one I found beneficial is the 20 books to 50K live events channel.
I didn't know that was a thing.
They post things regularly, and they have little baby snippets, like 5-minute things almost every single day of just one concept or just one idea.
That's really
and
cool.
so it's these very easily digestible little pieces of wisdom. And then they have their longer classes as well. Now, is it the ones that they teach at the conference? Not necessarily, because those are,
it's a
price
taster
gated.
table.
But it's got enough that if you made a habit of watching 1 or 2 of those a week, you could round out your education very easily. And they're all very good. So if you can't figure out how your Scrivener works, there's a tutorial.
That's a good idea.
If you're unsure about how Audacity works for podcasting,
Da-da-da.
I've had many searches lately. Be resourceful, be creative. There's chances are there's something out there. I would urge you to make sure you check the background of who's teaching just a little bit.
The source needs to be.
The source does need to know what they're talking about, and not someone who's just trying to make money off you.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will find people saying, I will help you make $500, $600 a day doing this thing.
I get those ads all the time on Instagram. Like,
It's
hey,
so
you're doing
annoying.
something wrong.
And
you need to take my course. And I'm like, do I really need to take your course?
the way you make money is make
That's
courses
how
on
they are
telling
making
people how to
money.
make money.
Mm-hmm.
And do they work? Mostly no.
I wouldn't know. I haven't bought or attended any of those.
No, I take everything with a grain of salt just because, you be in the industry long enough and you're like, yeah, it's not just put something on Amazon, make money.
Yeah.
That's not how this works.
No. All right.
All right. Number 4, Candace.
Okay. So I am going to say podcasts. Can I say podcasts?
That feels like cheating.
Kind of, but honestly, the podcasts are a really great place to find out information. And it's not just because we do one and this is what you should be doing. And yes, it's all about
There
us.
are really
but,
good ones.
But
from
there are
people
some
who
really
have actual credits.
There are that's really great information that comes from podcasts. And there are really good people that do these podcasts as well. So I put down just as some that might be beneficial is like the Creative Pen. I think that's Joanna Penn. That's like, she's kind of the queen of
indie
writing
publishing. She
advice.
is.
And
she's
so,
right up there.
Yeah, she's just amazing. And if you're into publishing or you're an author through Kindle, I put Dave Chesson, who he's the founder of like Kindle Premier, whatever the way for you to how you should like market your books and everything. Grammar Girl's got one. I put down Brooke Warner. I haven't actually listened to this one specifically. The Brooke Warner, it's called Right-Minded Podcast. The Right-Minded Podcast.
Clever.
With Brooke Warner, she writes press, and then this guy, his name is Grant Faulkner, and he is like the big wig with NaNoWriMo. Brooke Warner I met at an IBPA conference, and she writes press is a very big indie publisher, and I have been very impressed with the things that she did, and so that's why I added hers. We do have friends of the program as well. I mean, we could put like Charlie on here or your friend Jen. I mean, they have podcasts we can put on the website, but they all have like, I just want to say they have really great advice, and it's a great way to spend your time if you're doing something else, just to get inspired and it's not just self-gratification for us doing a podcast, which sounds so, two-faced, but no, it's not. This is a really great place to find information.
Well, and unlike YouTube, a podcast is something you put in your pocket. I listen to podcasts when I mow the lawn. Mm-hmm. I listen to podcasts when I am driving places.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just in the background, but something will jump forward. I'm like, oh, I haven't thought of it that way. And I'll get something out of it. And sometimes it's just feeling like you're sitting in a room with fellow writers. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of, there's a support thing there. You're like, I'm among friends.
Mm-hmm. I did also put writing excuses on here. I figure everyone knows that one. But I forgot that was on my list too. So those are the two biggest ones I could think of were Creative Pen and writing excuses. So anyway, that's my number 4.
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5. This is going to be kind of an obvious one, but sometimes obvious is good. There are hundreds of books, there are magazines, and there are online articles that can both inspire and inform. So one of the ones that we've referenced recently was Stephen King's On Writing. Is it a book that's going to teach you how to write good?
No.
No, it's going to make you feel like your process or like your journey of becoming a writer is more normal than you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Anne Lamont's Bird by Bird is very similar to that, where it normalizes just how weirdly hard it can be to establish yourself as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to books that are really good about the craft of writing, I have some favorites.
Okay.
So one of my very favorite ones is Worlds of Wonder, How to Write Science Fiction and Fantasy by David Gerald. This one is beautifully written for starters, but it grabs the imagination in a way where you're like, I should have thought of that on my own when I'm creating a science fiction or a fantasy novel. And he gives all these things of giving the world and the characters this additional depth that I think is very insightful.
That's cool.
Another one is A Writer's Guide to Active Setting by Mary Buckham. This one's very specific for a very specific problem. It's learning how to write settings is difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that's not something that naturally comes into a writer's voice until they really work at it. I haven't seen very many beginners just nail it off the bat. So this teaches how to make settings that work with your character, with the emotions of your character, to really bring things forward in a subtle, cool way. So I was recommended to read this one when I was putting my first book out, because clearly I hadn't mastered it. So it was helpful.
Here's your homework.
I know. She's like,
there's a test after this.
You suck at this. Read this book. I'm like, oh.
But they
ouch.
believed in you enough to want to, improve your craft. So,
and it was good. It was something I did need and didn't realize I needed it. This one has made the circuits quite often. You'll hear it all over the place, but it's Save the Cat Writes a Novel by Jessica Brody, which gives the bones of different, I wouldn't say stereotypical books, but there's different stories that are kind of standard. There's like the Cinderella story, and then there's like the Rags to Riches. That is the Cinderella story. There's all of these different kind of larger groups of story that your story might fall in. And she talks about the different points in the story that should happen that makes the characters and everything better.
That's cool.
Some good magazines like Writer's Digest, always solid. The IBPA Independent magazine for indies out there. There are a bunch more. These are ones that I have subscribed to in the past that are good.
I would also recommend Readsy.
Yeah, Readsy as an online source.
Yeah, it's an online source, and it has a lot of good articles about, if you specifically about writing and specifically about publishing. So
yeah,
I think it's a pretty good place to go.
And that one's vetted. Like, the people on there know what they're writing about. The same warning I give for YouTube as a source, I will give for books and magazines and online articles, is consider the source. Make sure that the person who is sharing this very important information has the same kind of credentials that you would look for, like if you were going to be going to a college, or if you're going to be going to something that you're going to be giving your money to. Make sure that those credentials are pretty solid. And even better, find someone who's also writing in the genre you're writing in, because each genre has different needs.
Yeah.
And so if you're trying to write hard sci-fi, but you're getting your advice from a romance author, it's going to be off.
True. Yep.
Rolling into number 6.
Number 6. This is our last one, correct?
It is.
Because they're a list of 6. Masterclass.
Yay!
I'm going to talk about Masterclass, everyone, which I've mentioned several episodes ago. But Masterclass, if you don't know, Jody didn't know, but I think many people know about Masterclass. It's where professionals are giving advice and teaching you how to do things. Masterclass is a specific website. There is, you need to buy the classes that that are offered, but we're talking about these are professionals. So when I saw masterclass, I was being, because Instagram knows how to target me exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They offered an advertisement for masterclass with Neil Gaiman, who talked about the art of storytelling. I was all about this. I asked for this for my birthday. And that's what I
a good gift.
got, and then of course, masterclass starts going, well, you've bought this. So now this is on my algorithm. And I started getting like, I don't know, Danny Elfman talks about writing music. Natalie Portman talks about acting. I mean, there's so many classes, and everybody has their own little take, but it's all professionals. So you're getting this from sources. Some of the writing classes that I found, N.K. Jemisin does one on like writing sci-fi. Judy Blume does some writing. R.L. Stein talks about writing for youth. David Sedaris, he talks about writing humor. Amanda Gorman talks about poetry and performing poetry. So, and that's one of the like important things about her poetry is her performance. So if you're wondering how much like masterclass is, it's less than a community ed class.
There
it
you
is
go.
Like for a class, it's like $10. I mean, seriously, it starts there. And if you get
that's
a 6,
cheaper than a lunch at McDonald's.
Yeah, it's seriously not
which is very sad about McDonald's.
And it is. Now you got me thinking about McDonald's.
Sorry. We'll get nuggies later.
These are real. I mean, these are serious classes too. They are teaching you mechanics that they evolved. So I think, the one from Neil Gaiman was eye-opening and splendid. So I highly recommend. We do not. We're not sponsors of. They're not like a sponsor. We might be able to be an affiliate though. If we can get an affiliate link, that would be amazing. But yeah, because it's definitely worth checking out. So masterclass, if anything, you should definitely go there. So there you go.
That's awesome. That's cheaper than a writing conference too.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely put the link here.
All right. So to finish up this episode, I want to ask Candy, where does she personally get her, how do you prefer to continue your education as a writer? You've talked about continuing education. You've talked about certificate programs.
Mm-hmm.
But what's your preferred?
Preferred. This is hard. I
was not going to put you on the spot, but it was in the notes.
I know that, but I want to mention something else. I would say a couple of things. Definitely what you said about writing communities is like probably number one, but the next one I'm just going to say is education. And that is a big consideration, especially for for us that started a writing career after we had kids, or we're midlife and we haven't had the chances to go and finish our degrees, or even if you feel that you haven't been able to get the education that you need now. Because there's always an evolving of learning. So you learn things when you're younger, but is that still pertaining to the life that you are in now? So I feel that just maybe going back to school, or heading towards school, a higher education, I feel is kind of important. So one of the things I want to point out, because people do ask this, do you need a degree to publish a book? No, you don't.
Absolutely not. And nobody checks.
No, I mean, it's not a requirement. But because if your creativity is mind blowing, they're going to take it and work with you and develop you. But the thing that I want to mention is that you are competing. Your books are competing with people who do have higher education. And that can be an intimidation. And that can be hard for your book to move or track as well, because you know that that's where other people in your audience have that validation, have that education.
And it's a confidence boost. Like if you know that you have mastery over elements of the English language or whatever your preferred language you write in, it's going to give you the confidence to put the words on the page even better. Mm-hmm. If you don't have that confidence, and if you're like, I forgot how to do the punctuation for the stupid dialogue again, like, it's okay to stop and learn these important things. Mm-hmm. Because everything you stop to learn because you're interested is going to stick with you.
Yeah.
And every hurdle you have to jump over, you're that much stronger for the next one.
Yeah. I'm very proud of myself for going back to school, to learning better the craft that I love.
I'm proud of you too.
Thank you. So yeah, as a consideration, that's what I have to say. How about you?
I am really lucky to be part of a really good writing community, and we kind of have these mastermind meetings once a week. And if any of my snarky friends are listening, I love you.
We do love you.
And these are a mix of different authors in all different phases of their writing career. We have one gal who I think just finished her 51st book.
Oh my goodness.
Like we said, all this different breadth of experience. And so usually if I have any sort of question, I will go to them first because I trust them as a source. And if they don't know, I trust them to put me in the right direction of something that is already validated as a good source. So it saves me the time of doing my own research because I'm lazy like that. But it also gives me a chance to talk through the problem with people I trust. And then it gives them the same permissions if they have a different problem that they can bring to the group, that we all have a chance to be able to discuss things and learn from each other, which I think is great.
That's awesome. I love that writing group.
Yeah. Everyone should have some snarky friends.
Yes. Yes, they should. Very good.
All right. Next week, what are we going to be talking about?
Oh my gosh. Well, here we go. So next week is our 49th episode, and we're rounding close to 50, which is the end of our season. And so I asked the audience some questions, and we're just going to randomly answer them. So it's I don't know, pop quiz. It's going to be great.
Pop quiz implies there's going to be wrong answers.
That's true. It's going to be random chaos because I'm just going to pull them out of a bucket. So it's going to be great. We're going to have a great time.
It sounds like fun. I'm terrified.
Super, super fun.
All right. Remember, if you've heard anything you like today, if anything has resonated with you and you're taking it home, we do have a Patreon and a Buy Us a Coffee. Your support is greatly appreciated.
And we love you.
And we love you. And don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and all the good things.
Yes.
This has been terrific.
Thanks, Jody.
Thanks, Candy.
Thank you for listening to the Squirrel Podcast for the Distracted Writer with Candace J. Thomas and Jody L. Milner. Please like and subscribe to our podcast for updates and new episodes, and find more information at our website, squirrelpodcast.com. Stay distracted, everyone.
Candace?
Oh, that's me. I'm number 2.
Never. You'll always be number 1 in my book.